let me say something that might not sit well with you. Being a good man doesn't automatically make you a good father. And doing your best, well, it doesn't mean you're doing what's required. Because right now, you might be showing up every day, working hard, providing, and still missing the mark where it matters most. And before you switch off, thinking, this isn't about me, well, that might be the first blind spot. Welcome back. This is Answer Me This, part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast. I'm Aidan, dad, host, and founder of the Modern Fatherhood Club. Every week, I'm going to ask you one uncomfortable question, not to shame you, but to sharpen you. Because this is about legacy, impact, and the man that your kids actually see when you walk into the room. You see, the world is happy for you to just cope. We're here to help you choose how you show up, how you lead, and how you love. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, head over to themodernfatherhoodclub.com and grab one of our free resources. They're built to support you from those early messy days right through to the years when they're shouting at you from across the room. All right, take a breath. This week's question is going to test you. Let's get into it. Look, I'm not here to guilt trip you. I'm not here to tear you down. I'm simply here to hold up a mirror, because behind the pressure, behind the responsibility, behind the I'm doing this for my family, there are things that you're not seeing. And if you don't see them, your kids, well, they live with them. I've been there, and at times I find myself still there. Mate, life is busy. It's a wonderful mix of chaos, joy, and uncertainty. But when are you going to take a step back and realise there's more to life than this? What that more is and what it means to you, well, that's for you to discover. I can't lead you there. I can't sell you something that matters to me and not to you. I can't tell you how to live your life or how to raise your kids. My hope through the podcast and other episodes is simple: to get you thinking. So today, let's talk about blind spots. You know, those things that have been there since the beginning, that are now part of the man you are and the dad that they see. And blind spot number one, well, it's the age-old myth that providing is leading. A lot of us, me included, convinced ourselves of this: I provide, so I'm doing my job. But let me ask you something. When your kids think about discipline, strength, emotional control, do they think of you? Or do they see a man who's always tired, always distracted, always running on empty? It's hard, and I get it. We've just come back from a week away in Center Parcs in Belgium. It was brilliant. The boys are at that age where they want to go off and explore, try new things. And the eldest, he's looking for some more independence. Not too much, but given how far he's come in the last 18 months and from where we were as a family, that's a massive step forward. But I was still heavily involved. The rapids, the slides, the bike rides, everything. And it's not something I'd change, but my energy levels were low. I was tired. It had been a long year and a tough couple of weeks getting ready to launch the antenatal course and relaunch Dad Chats. So I'd pushed a little harder in the run up to the holiday. And to top it off, I'd driven us to and from Belgium. So to go full out on the trip felt harder than I'd planned. But this is the thing, right? Time is waiting for you to get clear of this blind spot. In the blink of an eye, they're going to have grown up. Not completely, but the older they get, the wider the gap grows. So yeah, working hard and providing is part of it. But leadership, that's what they copy. And here is the truth that you and I both know. They can't copy what they can't see. Because what they see is dad. No title, no effort, no demand on your time, or the fact that you're shattered, or the fact you just need to close your eyes for a minute. So what they copy in reality, well, that can be the best and the worst of you. In those moments after work or on holiday, what they see is dad time. That's the time they see as infinite. You don't see it that way, but to them, your energy has to be endless. So, you have to get up off your ass and run to the rapids. You cycle, you run, you laugh, you snuggle to watch that movie. Because when the door closes and work isn't weighing heavy, there's got to be something left for you and them. Otherwise, they learn to cope, not lead. They learn to chase value and not give value to those that matter. They learn to answer the call over the things that light them up. To be serious for a moment, you don't get credit for what you intend to be. You get reflected by what you consistently do. And that's the blind spot that you and I face. So if we look at blind spot number 2, I don't have time. Yep, that's the one. But can we be honest? You've got time to scroll, time to check out, time to decompress. But when it comes to your health, your energy, your presence, well, suddenly there is no time? Your kids, they're not just listening to what you say, they're watching what your time gets. And the scary part? Well, these things aren't big decisions. They're small ones, repeated daily. The challenge you and I face is very simple. We've got to break the cycle. It's not just about time. It's about using that time to your advantage. How many hours are you willing to slip by before you change direction? Because that's what your kids need to see. Instead of following the herd, we owe it to them to fight against the incoming tide. We owe it to them to cut the shit, to focus on building the version of us that inspires and doesn't cage. Take a look around. If you're really willing to do the work, look down. Your energy and presence is built upon the fuel that you put into your body. I've said it before. Our kids are born from power, and then we let the world corrupt it. We let the world take away that power. In some ways, we contribute to that. But we can be more resourceful. We can set the example. We can use time to our advantage. I'm not saying that you've got to rip up the script, but in 2026, it is time to start taking this seriously. If you don't lead, well, someone else will. And the moment that other person steps in, that bond you're working so hard to protect, it gets diluted. My eldest is in year 4, he's 9 in June, and we have 2 years until secondary school. That's where the independence comes. The free thinking, the identity shift, searching for that role model, searching for influence. And we need to arm them with a clear understanding of time. From that first breath till they're 11 years old, we have 4,000 days, 574 weeks, 132 months, and just shy of 100,000 hours, including sleep, to shape who they become. That's 100,000 hours to invest in them and you. This is it. You do have time, but they need you to make the most of it. Let's take screen time or dead time. Now, I appreciate that we all need to use technology, and my screen is a big part of what I do at work. But if you spend 3 hours on your screen a day, that's 457 days, 65 weeks and 15 months. It's approximately 10,000 hours, or 10% of the first 11 years. I want that to sink in. From the age of 5 while they go to school, let's say that's between 9 and 3. So when you factor that in too, that's just over 1,100 days, 228 weeks, 35 months and 3,400 hours. So we're fighting for time. Work commitments, family commitments, personal commitments. They're all in conflict. But if you take away anything from this, calculate the age of your boy or girl and get yourself a countdown clock. How many hours are you prepared to waste? What can you cut back to make more time? Your time isn't infinite, but until they grow up and truly understand time, theirs is. So if we take a step back, you're drained of resources and your energy is low. Does time unlock blind spot number 3? Or does it make it louder than all the rest? Look, I get it. You're tired? Well, every dad is tired. That's not the issue. The issue is what tired turns into. Because for a lot of men, tired becomes convenience, poor food, no movement, short patience, emotional distance. And slowly, well, that becomes the culture of your home. If we tie it back to time, where are you burning out? Where are you taking shortcuts? Now, I wake up early every morning. It's become a habit that I rely on to help me stay on top of the shit that life throws at me every day. Every morning, regardless of the night before, I'm up. This isn't to make you feel inadequate or lean over you and say, hey, I'm better, because I'm not. I know what burnout feels like, but more importantly, I know how it shows up and how it impacts those I love. Nothing matters more than being clear-headed, because I know what I need to carry as their dad and as a husband. I know that my support for her career is necessary. I know the boys need dad on form to do that school run. That energy that I need is found in that little time that I have to myself in the morning. It's a habit that has grounded everything else. Don't get me wrong, I'm tired, but that tiredness isn't exhaustion or burnout. It's not fatigue. It's just part of being dad. But if you're not looking after yourself, that's when this blind spot, well, it becomes an excuse. We are tired. But is there something that you're doing that's making it worse? Your downtime, sir, is important. But the longer effect of that downtime, that escape, that could be leaving you on the verge of breakdown. They don't need a visibly tired dad. They need an example to aspire to be. What you prioritize is teaching them how to live life, how to respect themselves, their mind, and their body. You go to the gym, well, that tiredness is different. You eat healthier, that stamina that they need to see, well, it hits differently. You do not need to be an athlete, but you need to run round after your kids, carry the mental load without blowing up. And they need to see you smile. In real terms, your tiredness is a byproduct of your work, your lifestyle, and the pressure of the outside world. How that tiredness impacts your relationship, that's entirely on you. The bigger question though, are you resilient enough to pull through the tough times? Or are you going to succumb to the weight of expectation? So in real world terms, you need to understand this one thing. Your kids don't feel your intentions, they feel your patterns. That's how you approach life, work, your relationship. It's how you manage stress. It's how you manage your energy. Now this next one, well, this is where I got caught out. This one, well, it's dangerous. Because you're not terrible. You're not failing. You're fine. And fine, well, that's where standards go to die. Because you compare yourself to worse examples instead of stepping into what you're actually capable of becoming. Your kids don't need average. They need intentional. Take a look around. Are you happy with your lot? Comfortable in your own skin? Or do you have some more to give? Something to show them who you really are, what you stand for, and importantly, let them see the real you. Because that's okay. If you've still got something in the locker, that's a good thing. But the longer you dismiss it, well, the greater conflict you're going to feel. And the greater the conflict, the more you'll compare yourself to others or let thoughts of others cloud your own judgment. What I needed was really simple. I needed a clear line of sight on what was important and why. And it needed to shift me from the place where I'd found myself in 2020. But what I really needed to confirm was this. I needed to move from the I'll fix it later mentality that we as dads rely on. You see, we're not the priority here. They are. Everything else comes first. But then you get caught cold and overwhelmed and underperforming, and you're on the verge of losing everything. So think of it like this. Do you ever think to yourself, I'll sort my health out soon. I'll be more present when work settles. I'll spend more time later. Let me say it clearly. It doesn't settle. Life doesn't create space for you. You either take it or you lose it. And the longer you delay, well, the more time passes. The time you're desperate to keep with your kids whilst they're small is slipping away. It's creating conflict. It's leaving you isolated. It's driving a wedge between you and them. Now you see it, you feel it, but will you really fix it? So that's it. 5 blind spots. 1, providing equals leading. 2, I don't have time. 3, I'm just tired. 4, I'm not that bad. And 5, well, I'll fix it later. That's 5 things you and I tell ourselves. But what is it costing you? More importantly, what is it costing them? This isn't about 6-packs. It's not about perfection. This is about what your kids see every day, what they believe is normal, what they carry into their own lives. Because whether you realize it or not, you are the standard. And you have to set that standard. More importantly, they need to see it and they need to feel it. Because what they feel in those moments, it's going to shape who they become. Do you want them to settle or rely on a dated system to get by? Or do you want them to realize who they're truly capable of becoming? You're not just a dad. You're the example, the reference point, the blueprint. In a world that's distracted, overstimulated and drifting, your role matters more than ever. And in 2026, you cannot fail. You cannot sit back. You cannot waste that precious time that you are blessed with as a dad. That time that's ticking by faster than you ever realized. See, we owe it to them to deliver. We owe it to them to make the most of right now. We owe it to them to show up. Not just be there, but be present. And every blind spot you're missing, it creates a void. One that you and they can fall into at any time. We've got to teach our children about self-worth, self-respect, and self-discipline. We've got to teach our children to stay energized and mentally resilient. We've got to show them that life is hard, but it shouldn't take away from the little things that light you up. This year, we have to take our mental and physical health seriously, because if we don't, what are we teaching them? Now, this doesn't need to be extreme. It's got to be consistent. And I suggest that you start here. Eat together more often. Move your body visibly. Keep better food in the house. Protect your sleep. Be present when you're there. Not perfectly, just consistently. Show up today and every single day. Try to fuel your body and your mind. Let them know what hard work is, but let them understand how to unwind. Understand that they're looking to you for inspiration and confidence. This is leadership. This is fatherhood. This is who you are today. You don't need more information. You need more ownership. You need accountability. You need a reset. So be honest with yourself. Where are you drifting? Where are you avoiding? Where are you settling? Because your kids don't need a perfect father. They need a father who's aware, deliberate, and one willing to lead. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels hard, even when your energy is depleted. If this hit you, good. Don't just nod along. Don't just agree with it. Use it. Do something with it. I'm here because I lost sight of what was important, and it almost cost me everything. But that challenging time, it taught me about duty. It taught me to live aligned to the things that matter and to never overlook the small stuff and my impact on their world. I, like you, have made mistakes and I've missed moments. But I'm not letting them define me. I'm fighting for a future that serves my kids and my wife. This podcast, it's never been about making sweeping change. It's not scripted, it's not safe, and it's not polished. It's what happens when we get real about where we're falling short and how we're learning to rise regardless. Because your kids don't need a dad who has it all figured out. They need a dad who's willing to look in the mirror and keep moving forward. This isn't for the man who's pretending. This is for the man who's ready. So if you're here, if you're scrolling between pressure and exhaustion, and something inside you whispers, I need more than this, you're in the right place. This is where we talk about what matters. This is where you answer the questions that keep you up at night. This is where we get to the truth. Not just about what it means to be a dad, but what it takes to become the father they'll never forget. As always, please write it down, dive into the detail, create something so powerful and unique that you cannot wake up and not move toward it. And remember this, if you get this right, silence the noise and prioritize what's important, they're going to live how you lived. Love how you loved. listen how you listened, and prioritize how you did. They're going to show up in the lives of those they love, just like dad. And this is the role of the modern dad. You and I, we lead with stability, strength, passion, perseverance, pride, and we do it because we love them. Okay, well, I hope today's episode gave you something to think about. You've just spent a few minutes doing what most dads avoid: slowing down, being honest, and looking at how you're really showing up. And that matters more than you know. Remember, your kids, they don't need a perfect man, just an honest one. A dad who's willing to reflect, reset, and lead from the front, even when he's tired, under pressure, or just coping more than he'd like to admit. If this episode landed for you, subscribe to the podcast and hit subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss any of our future episodes. And if you haven't yet, join us at themodernfatherhoodclub.com. There you're going to find our free resources and reflection questions, the ultimate new dad toolkit, the new dad recharge course for those of you looking to realign your energies and priorities, and details of our upcoming antenatal course for new and expecting dads. Look, I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. But we are committed to leading with confidence, strength, openness, and heart. Committed to giving our kids the version of us that's present, not just productive. Thank you for listening, for reflecting, and for doing the work. This is the Modern Fatherhood Club. This is Answer Me This, part of the Fatherhood in Focus podcast. Lead from the front. Never underestimate the power you have over who they become. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.